Assalamu alaikum, students. So, we are here to begin the course of English language, which will be based on multiple lectures and assignments will be given to you. We will have many practices as well. So, we will begin with the introduction of the language, how the languages are developed in the modern world, or we can say how these languages developed in an ancient world. Language is considered to be the source of communication because it is used for the purpose of communication. We have words, we have sentences, we have paragraphs, we have multiple ways, we have many methods that we use. In fact, in the modern world, the basis of language have completely changed and transformed from the ancient ways of the languages to the modern ways of language. Likewise, if we try to understand the importance of language, we can say that the departments like linguistics that are developing these that has been developed by the modern world, and these institutions are providing degree programs, graduation, masters, and PhD as well. So language is the necessity of human beings because without language they cannot convey their messages, they cannot convey what actually they want to say. So languages are basically providing you the words and sentences, and these words and sentences are used to express one's opinions, ideas, thoughts, perceptions. So it becomes, we can say, the public opinion, the opinion of humankind. So that's why the language is so important. In ancient times, people used to uh, communicate by just expressing these sentences and words. But after the time of the written history, we can say the history that began with the writings, the writing system, they developed, that was developed by the Assyrian civilization. So this is how the journey began. And if we talk about in a specific English language, then English language is a language developed by the tribes of uh, England. We can say that they lived during the later times in the Middle Ages. During that time, the language like English was developed, but Normans, Anglo-Saxons, and the people who belong to the language of the Latin and people who belong to the language of Greek, they all contributed to the transformation of English language. So that's why we can say the history began with the period of Anglo-Saxons, and these two tribes actually contributed to the advancement of English language. So that was a bit of introduction about the historical context of language, history of language. So we actually learned about the history of language, and we learned that first the first writing system, the first writing system was developed by the Assyrians. Assyrians developed the first system of writing, and that's how the history of language began. But the ways of communications, the ancient ways of communications, like the sounds that were used, and so the modern method of language is based on the we can say the phonics or the phonetics, study of sounds. We know about the sounds through the study of phonetics, or that is also known uh, in linguistics is the phonology. So this is how the history of language works. But specifically, if we come to the age of English language, then the English language was developed by the Anglo-Saxons, the two famous tribes, Anglo and Saxons. Anglo and Saxons. These were two tribes that belonged to England. The specific place, England, where these two tribes developed the form of language known as English, England. So that's why the history of English language began from the period of Anglo-Saxons. Then the Normans and the people of Latin language and the people of Greeks, all of them contributed to the history of English language and its development and its transformation. So this is a short video that we have made about the history of language, its importance, and its connectivity with the land of England.